where emotions run high.
You face a
All right, we have a tornado warning now for Marshall and Nemaha counties. A rotation showing up on radar with a dangerous storm very close to Seneca at this time, close to Axtell and Beatty. Looks like where it would be located here. We're going to zoom in more closely on this, and we have the tornado warning again that's just been issued for this area in Marshall and Nemaha counties. The text on this in the Weather Service, we'll see what they've got for exactly what they're thinking on this storm is going to be. But enough rotation there near Baileyville. They've gone and issued the tornado warning. So you've got near Baileyville moving northeast, moving north at 35, and they're going to say this is Doppler radar indicated.
From the First Alert Weather Team, the National Weather Service has issued a tornado warning for the counties of Marshall and Nemaha until 7 midnight. A severe T-storm warning for the counties of Marshall and Nemaha until 6:30 p.m. and a tornado watch for the counties of Brown, Jackson, Marshall, Nemaha, Potawatomi, Republic, and Washington until 10 midnight. Get more updates on the 13 Weather app. Stay tuned to WIBW TV. We'll keep you safe and informed. From the First Alert Weather Team, the National Weather Service has issued a tornado warning for the counties of Marshall and Nemaha until 7 midnight. A severe T-storm warning for the counties of Marshall and Nemaha until 6:30 p.m. and a tornado watch for the counties of Brown, Jackson, Marshall, Nemaha, Potawatomi, Republic, and Washington until 10 midnight. Get more updates on the 13 Weather app. Stay tuned to WIBW TV. We'll keep you safe and informed.
6:47 p.m. will be the arrival time for folks there in the St. Benedict area.
From the First Alert Weather Team, the National Weather Service has issued a tornado warning for the counties of Marshall and Nemaha until 7 midnight, and a tornado watch for the counties of Brown, Jackson, Marshall, Nemaha, Potawatomi, Republic, and Washington until 10 midnight. Get more updates on the 13 Weather app. Stay tuned to WIBW TV. We'll keep you safe and informed. From the First Alert Weather Team, the National Weather Service has issued a tornado warning for the counties of Marshall and Nemaha until 7 midnight, and a tornado watch for the counties of Brown, Jackson, Marshall, Nemaha, Potawatomi, Republic, and Washington until 10 midnight. Get more updates on the 13 Weather app. Stay tuned to WIBW TV. We'll keep you safe and informed.
Cover, but if you're in Axtell and Baileyville, you should be taking cover right now, and they'll start moving through rural northwest parts of Nemaha County after that. And if you live in that area, certainly some people do, you want to take cover as well. But at this point, Baileyville and Axtell, you are right there in the path of this thing. And I don't know if you guys are pushing programming over to My TV, if you're putting Wheel of Fortune over there. If you are, please let me know. Get captioning going as well if you guys haven't gotten that done as well. All right, so that's the rotation on this one. Okay, we're not going to switch. All right, gotcha. Okay, so we got that rotation there in the northwest part of Nemaha County and the northeast corner of Marshall County. Tornado warning going until 7 p.m. It is not spot or indicated from what I see at this time, but we do have more storms that have tornado warnings across the border in Nebraska, not that far away from us, near Fairbury, Nebraska. We had a tornado warning with this activity. It's the same boundary we've been watching really all day, but if you're in areas like Holton, Oskaloosa, Topeka, the risk of a tornado is very low, and probably zero at this point actually, with the humidity dropping very, very rapidly. But right there around Nemaha County and into the northeast part of Marshall County, we do have the risk of seeing a tornado with this. Plenty of rotation showing up with it. But Axtell, Baileyville, this is closest to you. And if you're in those areas, Axtell, Baileyville, you should be taking cover right now. Around Beatty, it looks like it will stay east of Beatty. Summerfield, this could make it to Summerfield as the storms actually could start pulling a little farther to the west, northwest, instead of going due north. Okay, so we do have the tornado tornado warning going in until 7 o'clock. The rotation on this is not the strongest rotation I've ever seen, but just south of Baileyville is where this is showing up. I want to check the correlation coefficient, see if I see any debris flying with this maybe, and at this point I don't see anything that indicates debris. Now many times if it goes through a town, it starts picking up shingles and that kind of stuff, it'll show up as a bright blue ball on the debris mode. I don't see that at this point from what I see here on the debris mode. That's a correlation coefficient. But the hook, again, just to the southwest of Baileyville, very close to Baileyville. Seneca looks like you're just right there on the edge of this warning. But if you're in Seneca, I would take cover right now. I'll tell you, it doesn't look like it's going to affect you. I think it will stay just west of Seneca. Centralia, not that far from the warning, but you're fine. Vermilion, you're fine as well. If you're in Vermilion, you're out of the warning. You could actually step outside of Vermilion and try to get a look at it. If
I've got some funnels associated with this.
okay. That's Doug Myers.
Near Baileyville at 627 and near Vermilion at 626. So we're definitely, there are spotters on this storm that I'm on number one, Mike number one.
He's on one. Okay, so go ahead.
So there have been some storm spotters on this particular storm that they are monitoring the potential for this to potentially drop into a tornado, but so far just a funnel.
Now, what's interesting, many times these reports like this, when you get a report of a funnel cloud, if somebody says they see a funnel cloud from Vermilion, sometimes the spotter report may come in that they actually can see it 5 miles away, but it shows it from where they are. So these two different funnel clouds showing up here on the spotter report map don't mean that a funnel cloud happened at that spot. In many cases, it means that they could see it from that spot. So somebody near Vermilion and somebody near Baileyville both saw a funnel cloud with this a few minutes ago, so no confirmation of it touching down, but very close to getting very close to Axtell now. That's the rotation for this. Should move into Axtell really just the next few minutes. So if you're in Axtell and Baileyville, these are the areas you really got to take cover immediately right now. And again, it's the storm spotters from two different spots, Vermilion and Baileyville, both seeing funnel cloud with this. So again, I don't think it's two different funnels. I think it's people in different locations reporting it, and it's getting close to Axtell and toward Baileyville as well. And if you look at this closely, it looks to me like the hook of this is going almost straight north, right along Highway 110. So Baileyville, the rotation of this may even stay west of you, but Axtell, if you're in Axtell right now, you should be taking cover right now. That hook is just about to go right over Axtell, and just a couple of minutes ago, the folks from Vermilion and Baileyville both are reporting they saw a funnel cloud with this thing and reported that officially to the Weather Service. Doug, what's that report coming in?
Let's see here. I'll go to the chat here. So it continues, just the cancellation of the tornado watch in Jackson and Pottawatomie County, but continues the tornado watch for Brown, Marshall, Nemaha, Republic, and Washington.
Okay. All right, so I'll zoom back out on this. So that's stuff people want to know as well. We had the tornado watch earlier that went from Jackson County all the way through Riley over to Concordia, and now that's been canceled. They're dropping some of the counties as the drier air continues making its way in. So if you're in Topeka, Manhattan, Council Grove, Emporia, the chance of a tornado is really zero at this point for the rest of the evening, and the stuff coming in later tonight shouldn't be anything tornadic. It's just going to be very strong straight line winds moving in late tonight. That's going to affect really the entire area with heavy rain, and winds that are probably going to gust 50 miles per hour or higher for just about everybody. It would be a very windy night. All right, so again, we have the tornado warning, and folks around Baileyville and Axtell, you're the closest to this, but Axtell certainly is the closest to this thing. If you're in Axtell, please take cover right now or close to it. Your rotation showing up right there is maybe a mile, 2 miles southwest of Axtell at the most. So if you're really on the west side of Axtell, or just east of there, or just west of there, you are right in the path of this. And again, we had at least two different spotters see this, one from near Baileyville and one from near Vermilion, reporting they saw funnel clouds with this. I don't have a report of it touching down at this point, but that's certainly start off as funnel clouds first. Many cases, obviously. So zooming back out, I'll show you where the spotter reports were. There's one from near Baileyville, another just north of Vermilion, and that funnel cloud was spotted by 2 different spotters in different locations, is moving toward Axtell at this point. So that's where it is right now, is going to be right there. And again, I'm not sure if it's touching down, but it does have a hook echo. It has several spotters that have reportedly see it. And when you see something like this on the map, don't think that there's 2 different funnel clouds. It's 2 different spotters at different locations seeing the thing. But if you're in Seneca, I really think you're fine now. Very confident you're fine, unless this thing makes a U-turn and comes back down at you. So Seneca, you're fine. Centralia, you're fine. Beatty, you're fine. Axtell, you're not fine. You need to take cover right now around Axtell. Baileyville, my confidence is growing that you're okay. The hook echo is certainly moving up toward Axtell at this point along Highway 110. Baileyville, I wouldn't say all clear by any means. You're in the tornado warning, and you got funnel clouds that have been reported near you. So I would stay in your shelter in Baileyville the next few minutes until this is officially cleared. But Axtell, you are the town right now that certainly would be by far in the most danger at this point of dealing with the tornado coming through. So zooming back in, we're very close to Highway 110 and Highway 36. Zooming in there a bit more closely, it's going to be, let's get the mileage on it. It can't be more than maybe a mile down Highway 36 from the intersection there with 110. Yeah, about a mile is what we've got there. So about a mile down the road from Highway 36, from 110, the intersection there is where this would be located. So that's what we've got there. Is again, this thing is getting very close to the town of Axtell at this point. All right, so zooming back out.
And we do have an update on it, getting the text here up on the computer. So the tornado warning does continue until 7 o'clock, moving north at 25 miles per hour. It's still reporting funnels, so not officially a tornado, but again, spotters are on this. And again, Axtell and Baileyville are still the cities that need to be monitored closely before it pushes more so into rural areas, but certainly getting some heavy rain with it, maybe even some quarter-size hail associated with this storm as well. So certainly a danger storm for another 20 more minutes as it continues to work north upward towards Nebraska.
All right, thank you, Doug. All right, so that's what we've got. It is a Doppler. Well, it's spotters indicating they had their eyes on a funnel cloud with this. Across the border, we're seeing more rotation with these storms in Nebraska that are moving toward areas like Plymouth and away from us, but this one is still in Marshall and Nemaha counties. It does have a hook echo with it, and again, the most dangerous part of it by far is just right there, just to the south and west of Axtell, and maybe this will stay out of town, but we're looking at it getting close to Indian Road there is what I'm seeing. I'm going to take the radar off here so I can actually see what's beneath that. So we got some houses or whatnot. All right, so we got the west edge of Axtell right about there, and I gave it some pad, maybe an extra block of town is what I've kind of tried to add on there, just so I could show it a little better. I'm going to bring the radar back on here, and that rotation looks like it would be just outside of town from what I'm seeing. So in Axtell, I'm not saying all clear, but that's a promising sign that maybe even if this touches down, that it'll stay out of the city. That's a hope we would have, obviously. I'm not seeing a lot showing up on the debris mode here, but again, that's really close to the city. If you do have these go through towns many times, will see some signatures showing up on that debris mode as kind of a dark blue ball. So many times when that shows up, it means that you're picking up something that is different. So shingles are not the same size as raindrops and hailstones, for example. So it really shows up on that mode. All right, so what I am seeing here is it looks like this may even be pulling a little farther to the northwest from due north. That's what I mentioned a while ago. Part of that's because it's getting a little closer to the low. A low pressure area is coming this way, so it's starting to pull things that direction. You won't see a lot of the stuff favoring a northeast move like they tend to do with tornadic storms this time of the year. This one's close to that center of low pressure area, and it's really kind of a different animal. It's going to start to pull a little farther west, not due west, but more of a kind of a west instead of going, more of a northwest instead of going a true north. So Axtell, from what I see, that may be pulling a little farther away from town. Baileyville, every sweep of radar that comes in here, I'm more and more confident you're all right. You're about 5-7 miles east of it now, and this thing would really have to do a U-turn, which is physically impossible. So if you're in Baileyville, you're going to get an all clear in a few moments here. I don't want to overstep here, but the Weather Service, when they upgrade that that polygon in a few moments, I would bet that they will take Baileyville out of this. Seneca, you are not in the path of this tornado, potential tornado. Centralia, Vermilion, you are not either. Now, a little while ago, we had storm spotters reporting that they saw the funnel cloud with this. We had reports from near Baileyville, reports from north of Vermilion, and also a report of some hail there with this, it looks like in the last few moments. So what do we have there? We got hail about 1 inch diameter reported there just the last few moments near Axtell from this storm. And that's not uncommon at all with storms that have rotation. Many times we deal with a tornado or a funnel cloud, there's hail nearby. It's just the tornadoes can tend to do so much damage sometimes that we'll focus more obviously on the tornado and less on the hail potential. But in Axtell, we had hail about the size of quarters in the last few moments here. Okay, so there's the area of rotation. It's going to be this thing right here, just west of town. And let's get a mileage on that, a distance of how far from the town of Axtell it is at this point. So I'll take it really from this area over to Axtell. It's more like 2-3 miles west of town now. Now, when I went across Highway 36, it was more about 1 mile or 2 miles down Highway 36 from intersection with from 110. So now we're looking at more like 3 miles. So it is pulling a little farther west-northwest instead of going due north. So that's going to take it a little farther from Axtell. Your hail core won't be right there with the funnel of the tornado. You'll have the rotation over here. Many times the hail is falling just north of it or northeast of it, but it's always kind of nearby, but just a little off. So in this case, we've got Axtell had quarter-size hail, and I really think that the rotation is going to stay just west of town and continue moving to the north. So it's not an all clear by any means, but Baileyville and Axtell, I can say that it looks like this is the chances of you getting damage from a tornado going through either one of those towns is much, much lower right now than it was a few minutes ago. Okay, so now I have to look at areas like Summerfield. You'll have to pay close attention to this as it moves in your direction back onto the reflectivity. And as it goes north, it's not going to be moving into an area that's more stable or less likely to produce a rotation. Should hold together just fine. Now that's gotten into this status, it's got the rotation showing up there. Got a good solid core to the northeast of the rotation. So areas like Summerfield, you should be ready to take cover. You're not officially in a warning yet, but you're very close to the tornado warning itself. All right, they've cropped it off right at Highway 36. They didn't take it off of Axtell yet or Baileyville, so you guys are still in it at this point. All right, so the mileage there going from Summerfield, I'm concerned about Summerfield here, about 8 miles away from the actual storm itself. Let's give you a time of arrival on that as well. So taking this the cone track here, there we go. I'm going to take it from the rotation to the north. We got it moving at about 20 miles per hour. We got 7:08 for it to arrive in Summerfield is the arrival time there. Again, this warning goes until 7 o'clock, and from what I'm seeing there on the motion on this, it's not moving northeast. It's moving more north or even northwest, and to me it looks like the hook is getting out of the box at this point. So the National Weather Service in a few moments here very likely to issue a new warning for that. It could be a severe storm warning or a tornado warning. I don't know which way they'll go, but the rotation of that is not right in the middle of that unless there are two different rotations there that they're dealing with. Are they talking about two different rotations?
No, they're not saying anything just yet. They're still holding on that warning until 7 o'clock, so we'll see what happens with that.
But are you seeing this the way I am? If that hook that's the left edge of that box is probably what they're concerned about?
Right, yeah,
Okay.
they are still, it does look like it is trying to move a little bit more west than due
All right.
north.
I just wasn't sure if it was something embedded in there, you know, so the center of it is more right there along the line between Marshall and Nemaha counties, you know, so, I mean, I don't believe we're tracking something right here. See what I'm saying, Doug? Like, I don't believe we're tracking something right here north of Axtell. I don't think there's something that's going to start going in northwest Nemaha County. I think it's this thing in Marshall that's now turning more of northwest instead of into the box. So we'll see what to do with this. But either way, what I'm seeing, we have the tornado warning there. I'm not going to say all clear for you. If you're in Baileyville and Axtell, you guys should be taking cover right now because you're in this warning. And I'm concerned about this thing right here. And if you're in Summerfield, I would be leaning forward toward your storm shelter. Now, it's possible we could see the warning. I don't think it'll go as far west as Beatty. You're probably not going to be in the next warning. But would not surprise me at all if we were to see a warning that went into the northeast part of Marshall County. That's a real possibility. So I'll put this back into motion and kind of give you an idea of what I mean here. Let's loop it.
Yeah, what makes this so complicated is the velocity, what we show when we have rotation. It's not impressive at all. The only reason why they gave it a warning is because there were spotters seeing that there was funnel clouds, but not necessarily dropping. So as long as these chasers are still on this particular storm, they may continue this tornado warning even past 7 o'clock. So we'll kind of see what happens just if this storm has let up on this rotation or it's still rotating and continuing to drop funnels or not.
Yeah, would you ask them about the hook being out of the warning polygon for me? I mean, that's gonna bug me. I need to know what's up with that. All right, so here's the hook from what I'm seeing here. This is getting now out of the warning polygon, and you know what happened initially is it looks like the tornado signature on radar was going more kind of north or northeast, and we got to Highway 36 and began to fade a little farther to the west-northwest instead of going northeast. So we started off going northeast, started to go almost straight north at Axtell, and then it turned, and now the path of this is taking it more toward Summerfield. As it gets closer to the central area of low pressure that's close to Concordia, it will pull them in that direction many times. As a matter of fact, I'll zoom out and kind of show you what I mean by this. We'll zoom it out, and you can see that the storms are kind of going that direction too. Let's bring up the reflectivity, the composite. That'll do a better job of showing it. All right, so lots of radar here. Zooming out again. And again, we've got this low pressure area that's close to Concordia right now. So put this back into a loop, and what you'll see is these storms are popping up along a warm front right here. And once the low pressure area gets a little closer to the stuff, it starts to pull it a little bit from right to left or more to the west, if you will. Now they'll begin kind of going off to the northeast, but eventually they start to turn north, and then somewhere in here it will eventually start to pull the whole thing toward the low. And that particular storm, it looks to me like it's starting to take more of that northwest turn, not straight west or anything, but not even a true northwest, but north-northwest, if you will. So that's what I mean by this when I'm saying it looks like it's turning a little bit to the west and away from towns like Axtell and more toward towns like Summerfield. All right, so that's what we've got. Again, the tornado warning goes until 7 o'clock. For the northwest part of Nemaha and the northeast part of Marshall County. And again, when we have tornado warnings anywhere in the WIBW viewing area, we'll cover them the whole way through. All right, so now it may be a second rotation in there. Maybe that's what they've got going here. This other thing near Axtell at this point, close to north of Baileyville, but that might be a different rotation. And there's one over here as well. Neither one of them are particularly impressive by any means, but either one of them, with storm spotters letting you know they see something, either one obviously could become a tornado warning. All right, so I don't see any debris flying on the correlation coefficient mode here. That's good. If we were to see something blue showing up here on the radar in those spots, that would be an indication we may have stuff flying that's not raindrops or hailstones, but it could be something that's debris, and I don't see that at this point, fortunately. All right, so back over to velocity. Let's roll that.
And it does look like once this storm is over with, this should end our tornado threat for the night. But obviously we'll continue to keep an eye on any storms that continue to work its way up towards Highway 36. Got a little bit of light rain southwest of Hiawatha. That's obviously not doing anything there. That doesn't even contain any lightning, so I'm not too impressed with that particular rain shower. So again, this may be it. Getting a lot of people on Facebook asking about different particular cities. Again, I think this is it for our tornado threat with this storm before it pushes up into Nebraska.
Is that something that beep I just heard? It's just a forecast update.
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't look like they're going to expand it at this time, so it looks like they may be able to let it expire at 7, and that should be it for the night.
All right, radar trends. All right, it's weakening. Okay, good. All right, so most likely we'll see this thing drop in the next few moments. I'm not sure if they'll drop it or not. There's two different features showing up on there now. There's this rotation, this hook echo here. This was the hook that really caused the problems earlier, and it's detached from the storm at this point. So Summerfield, I was telling you, lean forward to have the shoes on, ready to take shelter. If that thing breaks off like this, then it's probably not going to cause you any issues. This thing just northeast of Axtell has not been the issue during the storm. It certainly looks scary on radar, but that's not That's not the hook that initially got this going. It was the funnel cloud reports, and it was associated with what that was the hook. So we'll see what they do with this. Most likely the next few moments they're going to drop this thing. When they do, we'll go right back to programming. I don't want to drop this just yet before the Weather Service gets rid of it. I'm very confident they're going to get rid of it. As soon as I do go back to programming, they're going to have a funnel cloud report or something come out. So again, northwest Nemaha County still officially in this tornado warning going until 7 for a few more minutes here. There is some broad rotation over the entire storm there. That is not a tornadic signature. This thing is going towards Summerfield at this point. That's not a tornadic signature at this point either, from what I'm seeing, and it's detached from the storm. All right, guys, let's go ahead and go back to programming at this point. They're telling us that this thing is weakening on radar, and they wouldn't tell us that unless they're going to drop it. So let's go ahead and go back to Wheel of Fortune, I believe, is on right now, and we'll have updates all evening long. But most likely, the tornado threat for this evening is going away very quick. So keep your TV right here. We'll keep you safe and informed.
Election, Marshall handed